Thanks for staying up later. John Goodman back for his second visit. This is a busy man, folks. I got to go to the list. Just in the last few years, Raising Arizona, Sea of Love, Everybody's All-American, The Big Easy, Punchline, Always, Arachnophobia, Stella with Bette Midler, and of course, his role on Roseanne, not to mention, coming very shortly, King Ralph 1.
King Ralph, yeah.
You got to slow down.
Yeah, something. I'm going to start taking pills pretty soon. Yeah, it's been busy. It's I try to squeeze the films in between when I got time off from the TV show, so we never rest.
What's the premise of King Ralph 1?
King Ralph is about a Vegas lounge singer who is distantly related. He doesn't know it, but he's distantly related to the English crown, and they all meet in an accident, so he becomes King of England.
So from being kind of a Vegas hang-around guy, all of a sudden he's
the King of England. He's the boss with the hot sauce, yeah. And it deals with his misadventures.
Now, where does this project stand with you as Fred Flintstone?
On the back burner, as they say on the lot. They couldn't come up with a script that would go in time, what they call the window between April and August, when I have off from the television show. So I think we're going to do it next year. This year, instead, I'm maybe playing Babe Ruth.
You had mentioned that the last time you were here,
Yeah.
and you were hoping that it would work out.
Yeah, I hope it does. I'm scared to death. But who in the hell have you ever met that would have to lose weight to play Babe Ruth? You know? It's the champ.
I thought the reason you were scared was measuring up to the ball-playing prowess of William Bendix.
The world's oldest Babe Ruth. He might have been older than the Babe was. I got to get, if I can't get the swing down, you got
to get that uppercut.
Yeah, that's asking for it. I got to start like 2 months ago on that stuff, and I haven't really had a chance to work on it much. There's a lot of stuff I got to do. I got to do a lot of research.
You told me that your best notion of yourself is be a good character actor, have the people in the business think you're a good character actor, you get work all the time, and then you go home.
Yeah, it's just like doing anything else, except it's showbiz. It's just do your job right, do the right thing, do your homework, and keep your nose clean.
But it's hard, though, when you achieve the kind of visibility you've achieved, first of all, to be on the Roseanne show, and then secondly, with the string of films you've done, and most of them have been well received, and even pictures that have gotten relatively poor reviews that you've been in, like Always, your performance has been praised. There's going to be a lot of attention focused on you, whether you like it or not, and you got to learn to cope with it.
Yeah, it's something I still have trouble dealing with it. I thought, I just got into New York today. I thought it'd be different here, but, every block, it makes you paranoid. You feel the eyes on the back of your head. And it's disgusting, too, to have actual eyes.
Ooh.
But it's still something I haven't dealt with. I always thought if I guess it's a television show that really does it.
About the television show, I read a quote of yours. I don't know if it's accurate. You can never tell. You can tell me if it's accurate.
Was it
you said,
from one of the tabloids?
And in that case, I'd know it wasn't accurate. That it's hard to play a blue-collar guy without much dough when everybody's telling you how great you are all the time, which is what happens when you become a big deal.
Yeah, it's a little weird. Plus, when you start making the dough, you kind of forget how to be poor a little bit. I mean, I think I could still remember pretty good, and it'll probably be back with me, before too long. But also, yeah, it's when everybody, it's something you really got to center yourself and focus a lot harder than you would normally with all the attention.
Has that become an increasingly difficult show to do just because of the circus atmosphere around it? Like last time, I'm not going to ask you to comment on Roseanne because that wouldn't be appropriate, but because you work with her. But there is a circus atmosphere around the show that I would think gets in the way of just doing your work and enjoying the work.
Well, the circus atmosphere isn't bad. The Walendas get in the way sometimes, and the dancing dogs leave a mess. But it's something that was there from Jump Street with that show. There was always something going on. If she wasn't involved with something, there was the tabloids were making a mess out of things, or one of the many entertainment shows. We're trying to make a dog's breakfast of it. It's just something I've always dealt with. I just try to, as I always have, do the work and stay out of things, mind my own business, learn my lines, try not to bump into anything.
Is there something that being an actor has done for you personally, beyond make a career and give you a chance to do additional roles that you'd enjoy? Has it scratched some itch for you personally?
I think it's the only reason I'm doing it. When I first started it professionally, well, it gave me a focus for my life, really. In college, I mean, the only reason I went to college was to try to play football at Southwest Missouri State, and I knew I wasn't going to be able to do that for a year because I was ineligible, and I really wanted to try it, so I got into a good program down there, and it really filled my life. It gave me a purpose. And then when I tried it professionally, it did the same thing. I knew I could do it, and yeah, it gives you something to get up for in the morning, I guess. More than that, it's really it's one of the most fulfilling things that I do.
The last time you were here, a little bit more than a year ago, Always was just about to be released, and you know, the old Spencer Tracy film, and you had the Ward Bond role, and it looked to you like a can't miss. And I go and see this film, and everybody in it is someone I like. Audrey Hepburn, Richard Dreyfuss is in it, Holly Hunter, you're in it, and I like all the individual performances, and I walk out the door. Spielberg does the film, and I walk out the door saying, how come I didn't like the movie better when I liked so many of the components so well? Did you get that reaction a lot to that film?
Yeah, I sure did. It seemed like it couldn't miss. It had everybody. There were a lot of good performances in it. I have no idea what happened. So to this day, if I was going to tell you what was going to hit and what was going to miss, I couldn't do it. If I had to make my living doing that, I'd be eating dog biscuits, which are pretty good.
How deflating is it to you?
Not really, because I'm kind of used to it. But it was just a bit deflating. I had good hopes for it because all the people involved in it were good people, and I wanted to do well for that reason because I think everybody deserved a break off of that one.
The exterminator guy in Arachnophobia, who was the inspiration for this guy?
Delbert was one of my teachers. I can't really identify which one for fear of litigation.
The guy probably be flattered.
I don't know. He's a
guy sitting in St. Louis. He's had thousands and thousands of students, and one of them was so inspired by him that he put him up on the silver screen.
I couldn't really do it all the way like the total guy because nobody would believe it. It was just way too much. So I had to trim him back a little bit so he might be unrecognizable to himself. But it was one of my teachers. That's about all I really should go into.
What was it about the guy? Leaving him nameless, what was it about the guy?
He was out there. That's like, I don't know.
Was he the gym teacher? Was he the chemistry teacher?
These will go to my grave. It'll all be in the memoirs.
Late 70s, early 80s, you were a replacement in some play on Broadway. I forget what it was, but Kevin Kline was also a St. Louis, and I think had the lead in
it's called Loose Ends.
Okay, yeah. And he took you to some place over on the west side where a lot of other actors hung out, and you got into what you call the fraternity of actors. How important was that for you?
It was very important to me at the time. It was a lot of actors who I respected, and I still respect. These were people that were, I guess, beyond my peers, really doing good work, either in the park or on Broadway in films, who really weren't all that well known to people outside of the theater. And
like who?
John Hurd, Peter Riegert, Bruce McGill, Peter Weller. Golly, there was. And every once in a while you see Robert De Niro or Robert Duvall would stop in, and it was, like an aquarium. And I just fell a little bit too much in love with the place. I did everything to get my mail there, and hefted on quite a few pounds. But I had a damn good time doing it.
You had a whole bunch of odd jobs before things really began to click as an actor, including working in the car wash once.
That was the best job I ever had. That was so cool. It was out at the Crestwood Car Wash, which is no longer there. It's in a suburb of St. Louis. And we'd either hitchhike out there or pull up at 6:30 in the morning, get in the car. And it was just great because that was, there were black guys working there. And that was neat, you know, that was cool. And they'd be sitting there, you know, minding their own business. Hey, man, have you heard the latest James Brown record? It's really bad. Yeah. Got a cigarette? Sure, man. And, yeah, it was like, yeah. Because that was my whole trip was black radio, black music. Yeah. Couldn't get enough of it.
But you were a young guy, and these guys were car wash lifers, right?
Yeah, these guys were like doing it for real. You know, there was a job, and you know, this was a couple of bucks for us. But it was still great because we got away with murder out there.
Did you ever have somebody come in, and for whatever reason they just rub you the wrong way, so you just crack the window open just a little bit?
Just a teeny bit. And well, sir, I'm sorry, you didn't roll your window up. There's a sign right there.
The whole front seat flooded, swimming in soap bubbles.
Whoa. And you know their underwear's not going to dry for a while either, so not a hell of a lot they can do with it. Or, you know, play with a steam gun. There's all kinds of stuff you could do out there. Just all kinds. Steal from the tip box.
Well, then you're stealing from yourself, really.
Who's going to know?
Yeah, that's like your teacher. That's like your teacher, who you won't name.
Yeah.
Mr. Goodman, if you cheat, you're only cheating yourself. I could never figure out how I would be cheating myself exactly if I got a 93 on this exam instead of a 54. In the short term, at least, I thought I was coming out ahead.
Well, it'll go on your permanent record somewhere. You know that. That's one thing they always used to nail you with. This will go on your permanent record.
Which will follow you.
Yeah.
Every step of your life. Have you ever been tempted to go back and look at your record? Your high school record?
I want it. Make sure they don't sell it to one of the tabloids or something. To give somebody a great idea there. Yeah, I'd like to know what it, you know. For one thing, they counseled me not to try to go to college. You don't want to try that. So, well, I'd like to go to the University of Missouri if I could. Oh, John, you don't want to do that. Maybe a nice trade.
Yeah, learn a trade, son. Take more shop classes.
Yeah, and I got one, thank you.
So your guidance counselor didn't really see higher education as your path?
No, they didn't have faith in me. I didn't really see higher education as my path. We had Vietnam going on at the time and draft deferments, so looked pretty good to me. And I really did want to play football. I really did. Kind
else you went to high school with take a path like yours, try to become an actor? Was there a drama club? Was there anything that
there was a drama club. We had our high school teacher, Mrs. Rethwich, was pretty good with us. There was a couple of kids that tried it, and they're probably still out there, you know, working. But she was really good. She was really good with us. She inspired us a lot. I didn't really get active in the club too much. I was just kind of did a musical once a year, my junior and senior year. Lil, Abner, and Hello, Dolly.
And you were?
I was Dolly, Levi.
Uh-huh.
And it was tough shaving the legs, but I did it.
Sadie Hawkins and
I was Earthquake Magoon, the hillbilly wrestler in Lil Abner, and wore my glasses. What a sap. I look back at the picture, I look like a real dope.
You know, it just dawned on me before we go to this commercial. You know what we look like? If our paths had actually crossed before the last year or so in St. Louis, and we had been buddies in St. Louis, there's actually lots of guys like us who are buddies. It seems unlikely, but you find this pairing more often than you think, especially tonight. I don't know the context. Get the glasses on. I'm like the guy in the pool hall scene in The Honeymooners who says to Jackie Gleason,
you better get off this table because my friend Harvey wants to play. Will you go and get
Harvey and tell him I want to talk to him. We'll show this guy, Norton.
That's right.
And Harvey shows up.
That's right. Tell him what you said. No, tell him you said that Harvey's a really stupid name.
That's pretty much our act now. I think we can take it into the street.
We're down, man.
All right, that'll do it for this installment of the Peabody and Sherman Show. Thanks to our guest, King Ralph, who's coming soon, as they say, to a theater near you. And we're out of here. See you later.
Good night, Sherman.